Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We want to conclude on the political note. We're currently looking at the country's political landscape. And of course, you're aware the president has spent 5 days in the Mount Kenya region, traversing that particular region in terms of launching, assessing, and of course, a little bit of politics. Let's listen into the head of state, given that he was speaking in Nyeri County during his last day. That was on a Saturday before he finished it off in Kiambu County. Let's listen in to what the president was saying ahead of the 2027 general election.
Sio siku ya siasa. Kuna siku ya siasa itakuja, kila mtu afae rangi yake, tukutane kwa kiwanja. Saa hizi tunaongea na tunapanga mambo ya maendeleo ya watu wa Kenya. Ni kweli ama si kweli bwana? Na hii kazi mulitupatia. Nyinyi mumetupanga na kazi. Kila mtu ako na kazi yake. MCA ako na kazi yake. Mjumbe ako na kazi yake. Governor ako na yake. Mimi niko na yangu. 2022 nyinyi ndio mtasahihisha, mtatufanyia mtihani. Yule mtu ameanguka mtihani atembee nyumbani. Yule mtu atapita mtihani aendelee na kazi. Ama mnasema nyinyi watu wa Nyeri? Si nyinyi ndio mtatusahihisha? Si nyinyi ndio wenye kazi? Ama mnasemaje? Si mimi mliniambia nipange mambo ya elimu? Si nimeajiri walimu 76,000? Si mliniambia nipange mambo ya kilimo? Bei ya mbolea si imeteremka kutoka 7,000 mpaka 2,500? Si kahawa ndio hiyo inalipa zaidi? Si chai ndio hiyo inalipa zaidi? Si maziwa tuko na minimum return? Si mliniambia nipange ajira hawa vijana? Si manyumba ndio hii inaendelea? Si vijana wanafanya kazi? Si muliniambia nipange masoko? Si masoko mimi najenga Kenya hii? Si muliniambia nipange barabara? Si barabara mimi najenga pande hii? Si mtihani mimi nangojea 2027? Mtakuja kuniuliza mtihani, mimi nitakuja kufanya mtihani yangu, nyinyi mtasahihisha. Nikipita mimi naendelea, nisipopita mimi naenda kulima. Hakuna problem. Ama namna gani jameni? Lego kana tiguo. Si namna hiyo bwana. Uongozi si urembo, ni kazi. Si ndio? Si mnataka mtu ya kufanyia kazi? Si tukijenga barabara kila mtu anatumia? Si tukipanga soko kila mtu anatumia? Si tukipanga elimu vizuri watoto wote wanafaidika? Basi hiyo ndio kazi mlinipatia, na mimi nitafanya bidii. Ati mimi ni Zubai ati alafu nianguke mtihani? Mimi siwezi hiyo. Sijui kama tunaelewana bwana. Tuko pamoja? Watu wa Nyeri tumeelewana? Mnasema tuungane. Mnasema tushirikiane. Tupeleke Kenya mbele. Hebu ni wale wanasema tuungane, tupeleke taifa letu la Kenya mbele.
Well, that was the president speaking at the Ruringo Affordable Housing Project in Nyeri County on his last day. That was on Saturday before he concluded his Mount Kenya tour in Kiambu County. Quickly, let me get the thoughts of my guests. Let me start with you, Daktari. A minute, tafadhali each.
Thank you very much. I think the president's tour in the mountain region, in my perspective, was successful because prior to the visit, there were a lot of speculations that the mountain was slippery and it will not welcome the president the way we saw it. So, contrary to that, we saw the mountain were very receptive. They might be very clever, politically mature, as others have already echoed it, in that they know what they want. Therefore, they looked for their interests and put down their issues aside and decided to welcome the president and gain from his visit. Therefore, I think politically, from where we were expecting earlier on, this time around the president has put his foot on the ground and succeeded in his mission. But there are two issues that has emerged, particularly from his visit. One, the perception that the mountain has moved away from the current government is in question. Secondly, the fact that the president has had a conversation with the local leaders within those respective areas that he has visited had made him understand where the issues are, where the challenges are, and of course the interest of the community from the grassroots level.
Okay.
Therefore, that forms the basis of his approach, his political approach towards the mountain.
Okay.
In even planning for his 2027, now he knows where to start. Now he knows which area is suitable for him to move the interest of the people of the mountain. And of course, politically, he has gained grounds. And he knows who matters within the political landscape in the mountain. Okay. And that is why you see some members of parliament who are shouted at. But that does not necessarily translate to them being not popular. It's just because their political opponents are trying to show the president that they are more popular than their popularity among themselves are the ones they were trying to show off. Okay. Therefore, I don't think if the mission was a failure, the mission was highly successful.
Okay. 1 minute, Melita, for that.
Yeah, as Dr. Aria said, the president's visit to the mountain was a success. He was able to do self-evaluation and see how far, other than the political side, how far the government projects have gone, because he cannot just sit in the office and wait for results. He has also to go to the ground and see what is going on. He was able to see the projects that were going on. He was able to feel how the citizens are feeling by listening to them, their reactions to some issues he's saying. And also it showed the seismic movements in the mountain, what magnitude they were. And that has already attracted panic mode. You saw somebody yesterday giving a rebate in calling a media station and talking for 2-3 hours. That means there's something that has happened in the mountain that he didn't expect. And therefore, the only thing the president can re-emerge from this, all this turmoil that has been going on and the tainting, is to make sure that those projects are done as he has said. He should follow up personally and not even delegate.
Yes. Oscar, quickly.
Between one election to another election, we should always focus on the formal. African states, African politics, Kenyan states, as a state, Kenyan politics, we normally feel, or we normally see the informal being more vital than the formal. What the president, if I analyze that speech by the president now, what the president trying to do, he's trying to say that, can you guys focus on the deliverables, the practicals, the roads, the market, and what have you, as opposed to the rhetoric, the political rhetoric that we have here day and night. But again, it is him who is the president who should take leadership so that he drives the country from the informal talk to deliverables, so that we don't have a continuous politicization and political rhetoric 5 years down the line at the expense of deliverables, of development, of institutions. That is why I said that the institutionalization of the state should be the first, foremost important thing. What we should talk about, for example, if we talk about Nairobi, how do we deal with the hookers? How do we deal with traffic? How do we deal with sewer systems bursting right, and center? But you know, we mostly focus on the political rhetoric of the day, which is the informal thing, which is a disgrace.
Okay. Thank you so much. That has been my panel for this morning. That is Dr. Isaac Hassan, a policy and governance expert, Sami Meli, as well as political analyst, and also Oscar Omondi, a political analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Of course, there are other topics we want to discuss in terms of the grassroots elections for the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, that started on Monday. And of course, in the western part and in Nyanza region, they have been chaotic, where even 3 people were injured and rushed to the Homa Bay teaching referral hospital. And some are still nursing wounds in various parts of the country. But in other instances, like in Migori, it went on well. Mombasa will be carrying out its grassroots election on Wednesday. And of course, we need to take a look at the cabinet. And when we come back, we'll be focusing on the role of nutritionists and dietitians in Kenya's healthcare system. Already my guest, that is George Omolo, who is the founder and the president of the Kenya Nutrition and Dietist Students Association. Also, Stephen Arnold, the treasurer of the Kenya Nutrition and Dietetics Students Association, are also here with me in a studio. But let's take a look at the cabinet. We're looking at Beth Mugo.